Hi, everyone. Today, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about fear, a little bit more about fear. So, this is a pretty relevant and timely topic considering what's going on right now, particularly because there's just so much going on, and so many people are just going crazy because you're listening to what everybody else has to say, and not just everybody else, mainly the media. And it's can have a tendency to be a really big problem because you buy into everything that's going on and everything that these people in the media are saying, and you don't realize that the media, they do stuff on purpose. So the whole point of media is ad revenue. And in order to get ad revenue, they need to get eyeballs watching their blog posts, watching their, televised, whatever it is that they're doing. They need to get subscribers on their website, and they will do whatever they can to get people to read or watch. And unfortunately, sensationalism sells. So they take the worst information available and they broadcast it out for the whole world to see. And it creates all kinds of problems because you get what's going on right now. I mean, there's a crazy mass hysteria going on right now with the coronavirus. Now, yes, it does seem like the coronavirus is a little more contagious than the standard flu. But that being said, we need to spend more time paying attention to scientists and not to the news media, because the news media doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. They will propagandize every single thing and report all kinds of false information, and it can cause all kinds of problems. We're seeing this, in stores. You go into stores, you haven't been able to find hand sanitizer for weeks. And now people are buying toilet paper, and you can't find toilet paper anywhere. People are stealing toilet paper. People are beating each other up for toilet paper, and it's ridiculous. So we hear like, oh my God, there's this crazy thing going on, and we become afraid. We're afraid, but we don't know what we're truly afraid of. The majority of people who are getting sick are the elderly and people with underlying health issues. Rarely is anyone even under the age of 9 getting sick. Now, that's not to say they're not a carrier, but they can transmit to elderly and people with underlying health issues. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't take precautions and that you shouldn't be smart, but don't buy into the hype. Don't listen to everything that's going on, because when you are listening to other people, you are allowing these other people to make your decisions for you. And you are letting these people tell you how you should think. And by allowing somebody else to tell you how you should think, or what you should think, or what you should be afraid of, you're giving away your power. You are giving away the biggest thing that you have for yourself, which is your own ability to control your life. You are now allowing somebody else to control your life. You're allowing the media to control your fears and make you afraid and make you want to just do all kinds of crazy things. And again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be prepared, because I'm a preparation person. I love to prepare for things. I am a list maker. I have contingency plans for my plans fail. I have contingency plans for my contingency plans. And I always say, better to have and not need than need and not have. and plan for the worst and hope for the best. And unfortunately, what's going on right now is it's showing us the worst for society. It's showing us how crazy everything can truly get. And if we buy into the hype and we go crazy too, you've just lost yourself in the melee. You've become a sheep in the herd, and you are supposed to be the shepherd. You are supposed to be the one that is shepherding yourself to, your path, down your path to where it is that you need to go. So you need to stop letting other people herd you down this path that they want you to go on. So, listening to the media and making a truly informed decision is important, but it's really important that you actually do your research. You listen to different sources. You don't just listen to one source and crying out loud, please, 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 for the love of everything that's good in the world, do not listen to a single thing Trump says, because it's crazy, the misinformation that's being put out there. I am not for or against Trump. I do not want to get political, but as a scientist, it is truly alarming to me, all of the misinformation that is going on out there and how many people are actually buying all the misinformation. So it's really, really important for you to actually really listen to people like epidemiologists and infectious disease experts, and not, unfortunately, I hate to say it, not the president of the United States, because he is neither. He is not a doctor. He is not a scientist. He is a politician. And, politicians, we're going through a race right now for the presidency. So all of this is a gambit, and it's all a ploy. So you need to understand that you're being manipulated on all sides from every single media outlet that's out there. You're being manipulated. Don't listen to the media. Read what scientists are saying. Listen to the World Health Organization. Listen to the CDC. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. You should have been washing your hands before this whole thing started. But, when we allow other people to put these thoughts into our heads, we, again, are listening to them and we're following them. We're not living for ourselves. We're living for somebody else. We're doing what somebody else wants us to do. We're following down their path. And eventually you're going to end up at the end of the path, and you're going to come to a fork, and you're going to be like, where am I at? How did I get here? Why am I here? And maybe you'll realize that you were following somebody else. You were following somebody else's path, and you weren't following your own. And when you get to that fork, you'll say, okay, well, everybody else is going this way. I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to do what I know in my heart that I need to do to keep myself happy, or to make myself happy, or to move on down the path that I know that I need to move down in order to have the life that I know that I need to live in order to be happy. Or you can go the way that everybody else is going, and you can continue to just be led by somebody else. The problem with being led by somebody else is you aren't doing what you are truly meant to do. And you're going to continually be faced with all sorts of situations. You're going to have all kinds of things come up. They're going to make you afraid. And because you're going to be afraid, you're going to be afraid of ridicule. You're going to be afraid of being alone. You're going to be afraid of, any number of things. You're going to be afraid of, not being the right person, or not having your hair the right way, or your hair's not the right color, or your eyes aren't the right color, you don't have the right glasses, you don't have the right clothes, whatever. And because you're afraid, of being made fun of or not being, seen as somebody that you truly want to be seen as, you'll continue to go down the path that somebody else is leading you down, because you're trying to fit in. You're trying to be something you're not. You're trying to be someone that you are not. And if you are trying to be someone that you're not, you will never, ever in your life be happy. Never. If you are not living your life for yourself, even if you're living your life for your children, you'll never be happy. If you're working to make everybody else happy so that they'll accept you, if you're working to make everybody else happy so you can fit in, if you're trying to make everybody else happy or do things so that they'll talk to you, they'll give you things, they'll spend time with you, it's all false. None of it is real. It's all built on a lie, and eventually everything will fall apart. Lies always fall apart. You might be able to carry it on for a little while, but eventually something's going to give and everything's just going to fall apart. And, when it all falls apart, you will realize that you've spent all of this time and all of this energy and all of this effort doing all of this stuff to try and please other people, to do things for other people, to try and gain their acceptance, their love, whatever it is that you're trying to get. And you're going to realize that all of it was for nothing. You spent all that time and all of that energy and all of that effort, and you're no further ahead than you were when you started. You might know now that these weren't the people that you were supposed to spend your time with or your life with or whatever, but you're going to realize that, what you've been doing really isn't working. And hopefully you don't get to that point. Hopefully you don't get there. Hopefully you do, so I had what drunks call a moment of clarity. And I had a realization that I needed to change. I needed to make a significant change in my life, because I'd been doing that. I had been bending over backward, doing everything that I could to try and make everybody else happy. And I was absolutely miserable. I hated myself. I hated my life. I hated everything. And no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, nobody was happy. And here's the interesting thing about happiness. Nobody can make you happy except for you. If your happiness depends on somebody else, you've given away your power. So if your happiness depends on somebody else doing something for you, somebody else spending time with you, somebody else, coming and visiting you, somebody else going somewhere with you, and you're expecting these people to do this stuff and then they don't and they let you down, then you're not happy. You become miserable. And you're just setting yourself up for failure. Expectation will always, 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 in every single instance, lead to unhappiness. It'll lead to you being miserable, particularly when you have expectations for people and they don't know that you're expecting them to do whatever it is that you're expecting them to do. You're setting them up for failure. Because you're saying, I need you to do this in your head. I need you to do this. I'm expecting you to do this. But we're not mind readers. At least nobody I know is a mind reader. And if they do, I don't want to know that you're a mind reader. Please don't tell me if you're a mind reader and that you can read my mind, because I don't want to know. People aren't mind readers. So because they're not mind readers, they're not going to be able to understand what it is that you want from them. And then when they fail to execute, you become upset, you become angry, you get pissed off with them, you start fights, you become depressed. Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Why didn't she show up? But these people, they have no idea that you want this from them because you're not telling them. It's something that you have in your head So you need to stop expecting other people to do things. You need to let them know. And even letting them know that you have an expectation is really kind of not fair, because by saying I have an expectation for you, you're telling them you have to live up to the standard that I have set for you. And it's not fair for you to dictate to somebody else how they should live their lives. That's a whole other story for a whole other day, but I should just throw that in there. It's just not fair. You can want better for them, you can want different for them, but wanting them to do something different and making your relationship contingent upon them actually performing or doing whatever it is completely unfair. So that being said, the only person that is responsible for your own happiness is you. So you need to stop giving away your power by making your happiness contingent upon somebody else or doing something, or somebody else being there for you or whatever. You're saying, I have no control. That's what you're saying. You're literally saying you have control of this entire situation. If you don't come home from work and pick me up and take me out for dinner, then I'm not going to be happy. And therefore, if you don't do this and I'm not happy, it's your fault. So you're shifting the blame, and then you can play the victim, and there's just this whole giant spiral effect of things that go along with that. But you're also giving away your power. You are taking away from yourself the power to be able to say, I am me. This is me, and I will not allow my happiness to depend on you. I will not allow you to control my life. I will not allow anything that you do to affect me. And I say it like it's simple, but it's truly not. It's a huge process, a tremendously huge process that you have to go through, because we have these things that we do, and we do them automatically. We have these thoughts that go through our heads that go through automatically. We can't stop them. You literally cannot stop the thoughts that are going through your head. You can, however, choose to ignore them. You can choose to think a different thought. And by choosing to think a different thought, by choosing a different feeling, by choosing to say, I am going to decide that I'm going to be happy today, whether you come home and pick me up and take me out or not. If you come home and pick me up and take me out, that would be great. And I would love that. But if you don't come home and pick me up and take me out, then I'll be perfectly fine. And life will continue the way it is. I won't pick a fight with you. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be depressed because you didn't do what I was expecting you to do, even though I didn't tell you that this is what I was expecting you to do. So instead of giving away your power, you're taking back your power, and you're allowing yourself to become free of the emotional bondage of fear. So, and it's interesting because when I'm talking about this, it doesn't really sound like I'm talking about fear, but fear is what drives all of this. The fear of being alone, the fear of not being loved, the fear of not being pretty enough, the fear of not being good enough. These fears drive these behaviors. We don't see that. We don't recognize that it's fear that's driving these behaviors. So we need to, number one, work on being conscious and being mindful that these things are happening, that they're coming up, and try to make a concerted and conscious effort to shift our thoughts, to shift our behaviors, to shift the patterns, and try really, really hard to step back a little bit. And instead of saying, I'm going to let this fear of whatever it is, force me to continue to behave in this way. And you're going to say, I am going to make the change. I'm going to move one step forward. It might just be the tiniest little step, just a tiny little baby step forward to help me to move forward, to be happier, to no longer be dependent on somebody else, to no longer have somebody else be in control of my happiness. And just doing these tiny little steps, making a conscious effort, being completely aware, and really, really trying hard to do whatever you can to make yourself happy are really great ways to help you to move past fear. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to talk about today. I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody stays safe. I hope everybody, lives their life. Don't live in fear. Do not stop living. Do not stop going out because people are making you afraid of what is going on. I just traveled. I literally came back from Minneapolis last night, and I'm supposed to go to California next week for 3 days of training. And as long as they're going to continue to hold the event that I'm going to for training, I intend to go, because I am not going to put my life on hold because the media is trying to make me afraid. I'm not going to let that rule my life. I'm going to be safe. I spent 2 days in the airport. I was at the airport 2 days ago, flying from Flint to Chicago to Minneapolis, and then back from Minneapolis to Chicago to Flint yesterday. I took all the precautions. I had sanitizing wipes, and I, had hand sanitizer, and I washed my hands, and I made sure that every time somebody gave me something, they were wearing gloves if I was getting food. It's amazing how many places people don't use gloves when they're handling food, which is really disgusting. But making sure that the people that are handling your food are wearing gloves, making sure that if you are touching things, that you're just being safe. You touch things, go wash your hands. You pick your purse up off the floor, go wash your hands. You go to the bathroom, wash your hands. So, just continue to be mindful and, do whatever you can to stay safe, but do not let fear rule your life. Take care. Stay safe. I will not have a live broadcast next week because I will be hopefully in California for training, which is all day, 3 days. And then on Thursday, I will be traveling home, and we'll be unable to, maybe late in the day. I don't know, at the airport. Maybe I will. I don't know. But right now I'm not scheduling anything for next week. So, again, just take care of yourself, be safe, and, enjoy your life.